Welcome to the deep dive.
Great to be here.
So today we're tackling quite a significant development, the recent appointment of a new pope.
Yes, a really major moment. And we've got some specific information here to help us, get a handle on what this shift entails.
Especially thinking about the period before with Papa Francisco.
Exactly. The transition from his leadership is, well, the backdrop for all of this.
Okay, so let's get into it. What we've gathered seems pretty consistent on the fact that there is a transition happening after Papa Francisco.
That's the clear through line, definitely. And the main piece of news, the real headline from a couple of our sources, is who the new pontiff actually is.
And that name is León XIV.
Mm-hmm.
It's stated quite plainly, isn't it? Like, León XIV is the new pope. Seems very cut and dried in these reports.
It does. There's no ambiguity presented there at all.
What do you make of that directness? Just stating the outcome.
Well, it's fascinating, actually. The sources just give us the result. There's no discussion of the process, the conclave, the context. It almost suggests, or maybe wants to project, a sense of things being very clear-cut. Perhaps swift, maybe even uncontested, at least from the public announcement angle.
That's a really interesting angle. The lack of that kind of behind-the-scenes color, which you sometimes get,
Yeah.
it does make you wonder about the nature of this specific transition.
Right.
Was this outcome, widely expected, or maybe the opposite?
Exactly. If you think about how these things often play out or how they're reported, the lack of detail here really stands out.
So it puts all the attention squarely on the person, on León IV himself.
I think so. And on what his leadership might mean, the anticipation around that.
Which leads us to the big questions, right?
Yeah.
Even without knowing his background from these specific sources or the deliberations, the simple fact of a new pope just opens up so many questions. Like, what are his priorities going to be? What direction will he take things?
And it makes you wonder, could the simplicity of the announcement itself be a deliberate choice?
How so?
Like maybe to project unity or certainty, especially at a moment of transition. Or perhaps it's just, the stage of information release we're seeing here. Early days, perhaps.
It definitely gives you something to chew on. We have the who León IV is very clearly.
Very clearly.
But the how he got there and maybe the why, him specifically, that remains sort of open based on this information.
And considering the huge global influence of the Catholic Church.
Sure.
This change in leadership, even presented this simply, it carries enormous weight. The direction León XIV sets will inevitably have ripples far and wide.
Okay, so let's just pull that together quickly.
Yeah.
Our dive into these sources really confirms one key fact. León XIV is now Pope, succeeding Papa Francisco.
Yes, that's the core takeaway. And the very sort of straightforward way it's announced. Without much elaboration, it actually prompts us to think harder about the bigger picture. What is the significance of this specific appointment?
Which brings us nicely to our final thought for you listening. With León XIV now leading the Catholic Church, what do you think might be the most significant changes or challenges ahead? What kind of impact does this new papacy have globally?
It's definitely a pivotal moment. Lots to consider there.
Indeed. Something to reflect on. Thanks for diving deep with us today.